Hey guys, welcome to another edition of Operation Battle Ready. Today we'll be talking about how to do snakeskin. This effect was way harder to figure out than I had anticipated. It took about a week of trial and error before achieving the effect I wanted. I would highly recommend looking up pictures of actual snakeskin and snakeskin clothing. There are many different shapes and designs you can choose from. The first thing to remember with snakeskin is that it will not be uniform throughout the piece. Snakeskin comes in all different shapes and colors. One thing to avoid is making identical perfect diamond shapes. Your snakeskin will probably start to look more like a quilt than you'd want. After picking a design, start by painting the diamond shapes of the snakeskin over the entire area you'd like to cover. Once you have your main design laid out, we will begin to paint on the scales like you see here. I am using a Winsor Newton Series 7 miniature brush size 1 to paint on the scales. Make sure your paint is thin but not watery. Use Liquitex matte medium to help keep your paint flowing but not water it down. Using little dabbing motions, carefully dab in scales inside each diamond, avoiding putting scales on the black surrounding it. Make sure to take your time and not rush. Also, keep your hands or wrists resting on your table to help keep your hands steady. All the paints I'm using here today are Scale 75 scale color paints. I wanted to go for a more desert snake look. I based the diamond pattern with orange leather, and the scales were Arabic Shadow, highlighted to Birch, and then highlighted up to Mojave White. Wiping your paint-covered brush on either your finger or paper towel will help you keep any excess paint from puddling up on the model. To keep the snakeskin looking natural, I varied the color between rows of scales, highlighting the diamonds with Arabic Shadow and using Birch for the first scale layer color. As you can see here, we have our first level of scales done. Next we will be highlighting these scales. Again, repeating the dabbing motion, carefully highlight the scales where you would highlight something normally. Snakeskin creates shine when it is being bent into light, so there's no need to fully highlight the scales that are shadowed. Try your best to highlight exactly on the scales you painted before. Be very patient during these steps. Here you can see how I just used the very tip of the brush to dab on the scales. Using the point of your brush will help you keep your scales small and help you keep control of your paint. And now that those scales are really defined, it's time to highlight the scales with Birch, repeating the same dabbing process as before. Now that we have finished the main scales for the snakeskin, we are now going to add a few black scales in the rows we used Arabic shadow on the diamonds. It's very common for snakeskin to have speckles of color throughout the pattern. Keep these to only a few scales per diamond. Repeat all of the steps on the rest of your pattern, working one row to completion at a time. And there you have it. This is the completed snakeskin look. Thank you everyone for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'd like to give a special thank you to all of our amazing patrons on Patreon. We would not be able to do this without you. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. This is Riotgrrl signing out.